Everybody, and welcome back to Astromech Productions, a Star Wars and LEGO Star Wars YouTube channel. So today, we will be going over 10 common misconceptions about Star Wars, varying from things that the common fans get wrong, to things that even the most hardcore fans get confused about. So let's dive straight into the video. The first common misconception about Star Wars on our list is that Stormtroopers make up the Imperial Army. What a lot of fans don't know is that Imperial troopers, as seen in Solo: A Star Wars Story, make up most of the Imperial Army. The Stormtroopers, much like the Shore Troopers or Scout Troopers, actually make up a very small part, and TIE fighters aren't in the Imperial Army at all, they're in the Imperial Navy. The Imperial Army is similar in this respect to the GIR, who had clone commandos and ARC troopers. However, they all formed together to make one thing: the clone army. The reason Stormtroopers make up such a small part is because of the rigorous training process. The Empire could only afford to have the most obedient, the loyalist, and the best as their Stormtroopers, as they were the main line of defense and peacekeeping in the Empire. And this is why Stormtroopers do not make up all of the Imperial Army. Okay, Star Wars fans, the second misconception on our list of common Star Wars misconceptions is that lightsabers and blaster bolts are made out of laser. This, contrary to most beliefs, is entirely false. Lightsaber blades, in fact, are made out of plasma. We discover this in a small portion of the movie that many people will have overlooked or missed. This means that they can cut through almost anything, whereas lasers wouldn't be able to, as they wouldn't be able to have the strength. Blaster bots, however, are made out of condensed atoms through technology in their guns. This means that, theoretically, their supply should be infinite. However, as we discover in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, when Commander Cody captures the clone traitor Slick in this way, Star Wars blasters do require ammunition. On our list, I've gone with the misconception that all Jedi younglings become Padawans and then Jedi Knights. In the Jedi Order, if a youngling has not been chosen to become a Padawan by around the age of 14 or 15, they will generally go into other fields in the Jedi Order, like the Jedi Agriculture business or the Jedi Information business. For example, Madame Jo Costa Nu, who guards the Jedi Archives in the Jedi Temple on Khorasan, would have failed her Jedi training. She can still use a lightsaber and still use a Force, but has not got the full powers of a fully fledged Jedi Knight, so has been forced to go into other businesses. Obi-Wan Kenobi also spent about 2 or 3 years in the agriculture business. However, when Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn came to the planet that he was stationed on for a mission, he was helped out by young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Master Qui-Gon then rescued Obi-Wan to become his Padawan. So you get cases like this recurring all the time over the Jedi Order due to the rigorousness and intensity of the Jedi youngling training. This is why not all Jedi younglings go on to become Jedi Knights. On our list, I chose the misconception that the First Order is completely separate from the Galactic Empire. For those of you who have played Star Wars Battlefront 2, this will be old news, but for those of you who haven't, allow me to explain. In the event of the Emperor's death, the Emperor created the contingency plan and, along with it, 12 sentinels to inform the man he had chosen to lead the contingency, Gallius Rax, what to do. Rax was to go to the unknown regions and create a new order to surpass even the old Empire's standards. Rax staged the Battle of Jakku so that he may find out what generals were still loyal to the Empire. He then took them to the unknown regions as instructed by Palpatine, and from the ashes of the Empire rose the First Order, so that the Empire may one day regain what was rightfully theirs. And this is why the First Order is not separate from the Galactic Empire. Misconception on our list is that the Resistance is part of the New Republic. When the New Republic was formed, Leia foresaw the problem that the First Order would cause. However, the New Republic would not believe her and branded her as a warmonger. She therefore split from the New Republic and created the Resistance, which is a separate organisation. Leia relied on people like Khorasan, diplomats from the Resistance, to maintain a fragile connection with the New Republic so that in times of dire need they may get help. However, the New Republic often did not want anything to do with the Resistance, which was why the New Republic refused to accept the threat that the First Order caused and would not help Leia in her struggle against them. This next misconception on our list is more for those of you who are fans of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, but is still universally got wrong by most Star Wars fans. And that's the misconception that all Jedi are great clone generals. This is actually entirely wrong. Most Jedi had little to no experience of commanding troops of any kind and suffered immensely for it. Star Wars: The Clone Wars is very good at showing us the best of the best. Mace Windu, Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, Oppo Rancisis are just a few of the examples of the Jedi generals that the Clone Wars shows us that are not an accurate representation of what most Jedi were like. Most of the Jedi generals really struggled to command their clone troops, and as a result, a lot of them died or were injured, and a lot of battles were lost because of this. The Republic actually made a big mistake in choosing the Jedi as their generals, but as they were really the only people on offer to do so, they had no other choice. And this is why the Jedi are not great generals. In 7, I've gone with the misconception that all Kaminoans are heartless towards the clone troopers. This is largely true. Around 99% of the Kaminoans feel no emotional attachment to the clone troopers whatsoever. They just view them as money-making assets. We see this when the Kaminoans agreed to plant Order 66 in the clone troopers' inhibitor chips. They know that if Order 66 is indeed set off, many clones and many Jedi will be killed, but if it makes them money, they'll do it. However, not all Kaminoans feel this way. One such Kaminoan is Kaminoan Dr. Nala Se, who was stationed on board a medical frigate for the first half of the Clone Wars. We see her in one of the first episodes of Star Wars: The Clone Wars when the Malevolence attacks her medical centre. She knows that most of the clone troopers on board will not be able to get off and rescued in time. However, she decides to stay with her men till the end, even though they will probably be killed along with her, but she does that so they may have a peaceful end. This is one of the few examples that Kaminoans do care for their clone troopers. Fans, misconception 8 on our list is that the Sith Order emerged completely separately from the Jedi Order. If we go way back in time, before even the era of the Knights of the Old Republic, we find the ancient Jedi, the Force-using organisation of the day who are effectively grey Jedi. They used some light powers, some dark powers, but made sure that they were totally balanced. If any members drifted too far to the light or too far to the dark, they were sent into exile for a period of time so that they may regain their balance. However, some members of the ancient Jedi started practicing solely Sith alchemy, which is the study of the dark side force powers. These Jedi were banished from the ancient Jedi and went out into the unknown regions. There, on the planet Khorasan, they found the Sith species. This Sith species were very strong in the dark side, and together they formed the Sith Order and rose up against the ancient Jedi. In order to counter them, the ancient Jedi became the Jedi and focused solely on the light side of the Force, so that they may bring the dark side back to where they originally were. And this is why the Sith Order did not emerge separately from the Jedi Order. 9 on our list of common Star Wars misconceptions is the misconception that Khorasan is just one city. I mean, technically it is just one city, however it has several different sections and layers to it. In fact, Khorasan has 5,127 levels to it. On the top few levels, you can find the Federal District, where you have places like the Senate buildings, the Senate offices, and the Jedi Temple. You then have the Cocoa District, or Collective Commerce District, where you can expect to find businesses and diners like Dexter's Diner in Attack of the Clones. You then have the Ascara District, where you can expect to find entertainment, however more reputable entertainment like the Galactic Opera House. You then have the Entertainment District, where you have places like nightclubs. You also have world districts like the Alderaanian District, which is basically just like it would be at home on Alderaan, except on Khorasan. You'd have leisure centres and parks and houses. It would just be hundreds of miles below the surface. The Alderaanian District is particularly famous due to the riots that took place after the destruction of Alderaan. As you go further down the levels, they get more dodgy and more hidden from the light. In fact, when you get to some levels, the sun and the stars and the moons are just myths that most people will never live to see. The bottom kind of 15, 16 levels are just kind of volcanic sludge. No one can really live down there, they're not really inhabitable. So those are the layers of Khorasan and why Khorasan is technically not just one city. So guys, the 10th and final misconception on our list. I've gone with the misconception that the Trade Federation's B1 battle droids are entirely useless. In their essence, the B1 battle droids are pretty useless and are regarded as one of the galaxy's worst battle droids. However, they were never intended for solo use. They were intended as swarm tactics, and in this, they were very good. There are some statistics that say that 20 B1 battle droids are worth 1 Jedi Knight. However, if you've got 22, you've got 1 dead Jedi Knight. So the B1 battle droids, when they came out in force, were actually quite effective. And this was one of the reasons why the Separatists were actually quite a good army. They used a lot of swarm tactics and put numbers over ingenuity. And this is why the B1 battle droid is not actually that bad. So guys, that's all we've got time for today. Don't forget to drop a like down below, subscribe and turn on your post notification bell, and I'll see you next week on Astromech Productions.